Hello everyone, very good evening and welcome to Unacademy Live NTA-UGC NET YouTube channel. If you are first time in this channel, please do subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon and do not forget to hit the like button. And for my daily free live session here in this YouTube channel, my schedule is every Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 p.m. in this channel. I am coming live for the paper 1 revision for the Tuesday and Wednesday. Every Tuesday and Wednesday revision of the paper 1, and every Friday paper 2 best of all 10 units topic discussion is going on. So you can join me live into the Unacademy Live NTA-UGC NET this YouTube channel, as well as I also teach at Unacademy free platform. So daily at 5 p.m. in Unacademy free platform my sessions will be there usually. So 5 p.m. tomorrow also we are going to have this session, and 9 p.m. also tomorrow we'll be having a session with a logical reasoning revision is going to be there. Myself, Vodnala Shivalingam, a qualified NET-JRF in commerce. I'm a verified educator at Unacademy platform for teaching to the both paper 1 as well as paper 2 commerce in the English medium of instruction. And do join me in the Unacademy free platform. Unacademy, do follow me in the Unacademy. So the link is given in the description. This link, my profile link, as well as join in my Telegram group, Unacademy space Vodnala Shivalingam. That is the Telegram group. You need to type it in Telegram. So every day 5 p.m. you can catch me live in the Unacademy free platform and use the invite code Shiva Live to get access to free live sessions. Moreover, guys, target UGC NET-JRF for the August 2022 examination. 1 month is there. So paper 1 and commerce, both courses are launched already. Commerce daily revision started. Economics 2 sessions, just 2 sessions completed in this course because yesterday only we started. And practice course on paper 1 NTA high level questions are going on for this mock test. And paper 2 part 2 also will be there. Here the 5 units coverage will be there, and here 5 units coverage will be there in the plus platform. Daily 8 a.m. commerce and 7 p.m. paper 1 at Unacademy plus platform. This is about my plus courses. So you can join into Unacademy plus platform for a 1 month subscription only. I'm recommending because you have 1 month at time. In this you will get all the educators live courses for the paper 1 as well as paper 2, and weekly tests will be there, and mock tests also available for both papers, and study material for the both papers will be there. So you can join into plus platform. 1 month subscription plan is presently 5,100. Out of this minus 10% you can get the discount if you use my code Shiva Live, SHIVALIVE. Then you can get 10% off on the subscription. So use this code and join into plus platform and complete your paper 1 and paper 2 revision and the PYQ courses. All the study material PDF you can able to download within the 1 month. Right, guys? So that's about the Unacademy and the remaining. Now let us start with the unit. Let us start with the unit. In the part 1 communication, we have already completed almost 70 parts. 70 liners. Now from the 70 onwards we need to cover it up, if I am not wrong. Yes, from here onwards I need to cover. Ready, guys? Shall I wait for the people to join? Good evening Shilu. Hello Babita. Hello Veera sir. 360 degree commerce. तुम्हारा नाम क्या है भाई? Namaste. Hello. May I know your name? 360 degree, nice name. Hello Mona Singh. Rowdy Satya. Payal Mehta. Hello Bama. Good evening ma'am. Yes ma'am, good evening. Very good evening ma'am. Very good evening. Namaste ma'am. Hello ma'am. Navdeep. Okay. I'm good. Presently okay. So let's see. Tomorrow we'll get to know if anything happens, because hello Kalpana. Ganesh, hello. Om Sanjay, hello. Shall we start without late? Let's start. Communication part number 2. Right? Communication part number 2. Continuation of the previous yesterday 9 p.m. lecture. Now let us see. Here there are list 1, list 2 we need to match. sending an email is a formal communication, because email, when we will use either in the organization to communicate with the higher officials or to any official, for a formal communication only we will be doing an email usage, right? Verbal instruction is a informal. Verbal instruction means now this is informal. Now whatever I am doing now, even though it is a formal teaching, a lecture type of teaching is going on, still verbal usually indicated as an informal, because nothing is written over here. This is a formal communication which is written over here, but when I am speaking, that will be informal. The flexibility is there for me to talk anything, to explain in a better manner. That is why informal communication. Exchange of information between the two groups of people is called as an transactional. Transactional communication always happen between in the debate or a contextual manner. Many of the debate away in this relational aspects, socio-psychological aspects, as well as socio-cultural aspects. Four total contexts will be there. Total 4 contexts will be there in the transactional communication will happen, and this will be a simultaneous interaction will happen. Simultaneous two-way interaction will happen. Two-way interaction in a simultaneous way, right? Traffic signals are semiotic. Semiotic means a non-verbal communication. Semiotic is indicated as in symbols or the signals. Symbols are the signals. Comes under the semiotic type of communication, right? Interdependent in nature. Great. Just now we have learnt in the plus platform in one of the PYQ now. In the transactional, communicator and communicative both are interdependent on each other. Interdependent in nature. Great point. Nice. This is how we need to link. Guys, do hit a like button to match with the number of members. Announcement of a arrival and departure of the trains. यात्रिकन कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, गाड़ी नंबर 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is arriving on the platform number 10. That is called as in public communication. The railway announcement are called as in public communication, right? Factors that contribute for effective classroom communication are effective classroom communication. It's a balanced flow of words. You must have a control over your tongue. What you are speaking, the words must have a control. Balanced flow of words. Circular flow of words. You have to speak, other person has to take that, and other person has to give a reply. Circular flow of words, then only effective communication. Without giving a chance to the other person, if you are continuously talking only on one side, that will be a defective communication, not an effective communication, right? Next is that mechanism to assess the feedback. You must understand the feedback of the other person. You must get the feedback of other person. Then only you are in a position to say whether your communication is properly communicated or your message is communicated or not. You will get to know based on that feedback only. Next, the content and style of communication are the predictor variables of effective teaching. What is predictor variable? Predictor variable is nothing but an independent variable, whereas predicted variable is nothing but a dependent variable. So when you manipulate the predictor variable, the impact is going to be there on predicted variable, means which is impacted variable, that is dependent variable will be there, right? So correct sequence of following transmissions. Here telegraph introduced originally, early days, initially first telegraph, after that telephone came into picture, broadcasting, narrowcasting, podcasting. Podcasting is a audio only audio, and narrowcasting is a very less coverage. Narrowcasting is like a private meeting. Narrowcasting is a private meeting. Broadcasting is a many number of people can able to access to this broadcasting. All right. Next is that here a company boss telephones his or her secretary for some help from outside is an informal communication, because he called to that person, which is a oral communication, and that too not for the casual routine office work. This is for some help from the outside, which is a informal or outside the formal communication scope. A company issues a circular. When it is circular, it has to come from the hierarchy, top level management to middle level management and to the low level management it has to reach. So there will be a hierarchy which is getting followed, comes under the vertical communication. And employees discuss certain issues among themselves, and this is called as an horizontal. Certain issues among themselves means a same level over here. Same level is called as an horizontal communication. Alright, same level. And next, company sends a formal letter to its retailers and wholesalers is an marketing communication, because this is about the marketers. Retailers, wholesalers are comes under the marketers. So they are in the chain of the marketing chain only, or the supply chain they will be there, which comes under the marketing communication. Next, the following is essential in classroom communication: frequent repetition of message in different ways. Why the teachers will repeat more number of times the same thing? Why the teacher will repeat the same thing? That doesn't mean he don't have any other work. It is not about the irritation of the student. It is not to irritate the student. It is to make them understand in a possible different ways. When the same thing we are telling in a different possible alternative ways, every student will capture in one way at least. At least every student they will understand in at least a one way. That is the main objective of frequent repetition of the same sentences or same words again and again, because they wanted to emphasize that is more important a point. Classroom communication involves a formal lecturing, informal discussion and explaining. Just now we have solved a question in the plus platform. Formal lecturing, informal discussion and explaining. Explaining as well as another one is there. What is that? Exemplification as well as practice. These three are comes under the direct teaching strategies. Right? So in the direct classroom communication involves formal lecturing, which is explaining, and informal discussion also. The oral discussion will happen between the teacher and students. Practice will be there like a drill and all, and exemplification means more in detail explanation. Comes under the classroom communication. Right guys, kindly hit a like button if you like this session. Next, to be effective in the classroom, teacher should minimize the communication barrier, and since the communication is a complex process, regular feedback analysis is essential for this purpose. Minimize means reduce the barrier. When you reduce the barrier, automatically your effectiveness of communication will increase. When you reduce the barrier, your effectiveness of communication will increase under here. And here, publicity is a non-commercial promotion. Publicity means usually without payment publicity will happen. Now if you go and say to your friend, Shiva sir is teaching very well in the paper 1, so you can go and watch this YouTube session and you can join in the Unacademy free platform plus platform also. That is a publicity, non-commercial, without payment. Propaganda is a carrying capacity. This means communication with a proper motive. This can be used in two ways. By that is, one way is that positive, one way is that negative. If you use it in a positive way, generally propaganda is generally termed as a negative way of expression, creating a certain rumors on the person or opponent party, and by creating with some facts will be there. Propaganda base will be some facts. Based on some facts only propaganda will be created on the other person, but out of that adding many rumors to the existing small fact and creating a wrong picture of that person, carried by the many people and shared by the many persons and believed by many persons. That's what with a motive, with a proper motive to degrade the other person or to increase the person value also. That comes under here. Right? Next, advertising is a paid message. Whereas public relation is a reputation management, how the customer's relationship management is there. In the same way, public relationship, how we are maintaining a good relationship with the others. Next, here the correct chronological here it is there, okay. Chronological sequence of the communication. Sumerians as well as Romans, Chinese, Germans and British. Romans, Chinese and British comes under here. So these are the evolution of communicators, how the communication evolved from the since a long ago. The people, we can say various countries or the geographical area wise, how they got evolved. Sequence. Immediacy of cues in communication is depend upon one's own cultural background. What is this immediacy of the cues? Immediate response. Or immediate response or a feedback. Those cues, how you are responding verbally, non-verbally, both in the communications depends upon one's own cultural background only. What happened in the chat box? Okay. The method which helps to improve the academic communication. What methods? Training is an individual student communication skills. Practical skills improved by the training. Restricting too much generation of information. Too much generation of information means avoiding overloading of information. Avoiding overloading of information. Avoiding overloading of information comes under this one. Next, recognizing cultural and linguistic differences among the student. Recognizing cultural and linguistic differences between the or among the students means this is an individual difference recognition only. When you recognize their culture and their language barrier, accordingly if you can fit your teaching methodology, then it will be a more effective and improving the academic communication between the students. Next, no, I belong to Hyderabad, not Tamil Nadu. So your verbal communication takes place in real time. In real time, verbal communication now, actually verbal includes a oral and written. Here in this sense, verbal is an oral because only oral communication is real time, not the written communication, because written may be real time, may not be real time. Real time means live in nature. Next, the correct sequence of emergence of following publication are news sheets, after that news book, standard newspaper, tabloids as well as broadsheet. Tabloids as well as broadsheet. So you can see news sheet initially, after that news book, standard newspaper, tabloids and broadsheet. Whereas here communication systems, Western communication system is a heterical devices. Heterical means influencing devices. Influencing devices. Modern type of communication systems are influencing on the other. Whereas Indian are emotional variants. Because why Indians are emotional? We are connected by feelings and all. Indian are emotional one. Emotional one. We are connected by emotional variant. And Buddhist type of people are non-competitive and cooperative. They are not about the competition, they are about the cooperation, and Lord Buddha teachings only they will be promoting more with the people. Chinese are coexistence of binary opposition. Binary opposition means always they wanted to compete with others. That is the attitude of this. Always they wanted to compete with others. Here the Chinese. Right? Next, Buddha is non-violence, whereas Chinese is more about the violence only. Not violence, I would say. Coexistence of binary opposition means they want a competition. And the entry of new media. The entry of new media has made online learning independent, because at your home. Now you are sitting and opening you opened a YouTube app, and via that only you are attending this session. You are now independent. Wherever you are now, you can listen to this YouTube lecture or any other lecture, or you can Google it and get the information just sitting at home and doing accordingly. Even though somebody is helping, whoever is teaching or the platforms or the mechanism is helping, but that is independently, student got independence to learn whatever he wanted to. That's how the independence is correct, right? Next, removal of communication barriers in classroom will result in clear enunciation of the specific instructional behaviors and a climate of purposeful student interaction. So here, removal of the barriers. When you remove the barriers, obviously what the teacher wanted to say, and students will understand the same what a teacher is teaching. Clear cut understanding will get developed when you decrease the barrier. The climate will also be a positive climate. Don't use two words when one will do the guiding principle that work. So don't tell the alternative things when the first one itself is giving a work to giving a final meaning to it. So suppose I said I love you. Then if other person didn't understood that, then I can say 1 4 3. Later I can, if other person didn't understand when I told the first term, then only I can go for the alternative things. But unless if first one itself is getting understood by the other person, what is the use of this 1 4 3 and alternative words are not required. Don't use two words which are alternative things. Comes under here. Next is that correct sequence of phases in communication development is cave painting. Yesterday also, initially cave paintings, and as well as language developments, how the languages were developed. In India, these many languages are there. Cave painting matlab the lipi on the walls or lipi on the temple walls, like that. Wooden blocks for a printing, and aDDa and metal printing. These are the various scriptures in the communication development process, historical communication development process, right? Next, mode of communication and list of communication. One-to-one communication is an interpersonal communication, and one-to-many is a mass communication, especially a print media, news media comes under here. One-to-one interpersonal, one-to-many mass communication, one-to-many mass communication, and many-to-many. Many-to-many is a network transactional. So many-to-many means now internet is a transactional one. Many people are interacting with each other. So that could be a transactional, and it is a network based many-to-many people communication. One-to-none is a intrapersonal communication. Speaking with yourself only comes under here, right? Next. Array, what is happening? By concentrate on the class. Hut. Chakodi jalebi. Distance in interpersonal communication is indicative of one's own culture. Just now discuss, based on the culture or a language only, the classroom communication will be effective. According to the culture and the language, we need to decide. Distance in interpersonal communication is indicative of the culture. I am in Hyderabad. You people are other parts of the India. So that based on your language or your geographical area, I can recognize that culture is different. This is because of the distance. This is because of the distance. So the distance is a base for recognizing the culture. The culture is a base for recognizing the language. So that's how one is interconnected to other. One is interconnected to other. Chekodi Jalebi means their names. Two people names here in the chat box. Next, the correct sequence of the elements in the later part, second part of the communication process, is after decoding. By once the decoding done, after the decoding, till the decoding process will be different, but after the decoding, We will start with a feedback. Once the feedback done, in what environment you are giving a feedback, in what context you are giving a reply, and is there any noise, that is interference in reaching your reply or not. Yesterday we have done. So what is the process, beginning part of the communication process after decoding? Because the decoding process is one process. After decoding is this process. After decoding, this process will come. Right? Next. Synchronous media. Synchronous media is a telephone. Asynchronous media is a email. And rich media is a interactive media. Rich media is nothing but, they are not rich in paisa wise. They are rich in presentation wise. They are rich in information wise. They are rich in communication skills wise. That is how the rich media in communication. Interactive media according to the requirement of the people. Hypermedia is application of the multimedia. When you apply the multiple like audio, video, everything when you are using and communicating, that's hypermedia. Asynchronous is not live. Asynchronous is not live. And synchronous is more of live communication. Right? More of live communication. Kindly hit a like button, guys. Social. Rich and hyper difference is that by rich is a part of the hypermedia. I would say if this is hypermedia, which is a bigger one, in that rich will come. Because rich is a use of multimedia only. Again, solid information within the brief and concise information within the possible less time comes under the rich media. Whereas hypermedia is a broader one which is using a same multimedia. But here interaction of a people will be there in the rich media. In the hypermedia, it is like a TV news channels only that will comes under the hypermedia, I would say. More clear and authentic information comes under the rich. Next, effective communication align appearance with a body language and tone, and such an alignment forms part of the art of persuasion. Art of the persuasion. So you can look at effective communication aligns appearance with a body language and tone. With a body language and tone. With a body language and tone, such alignment forms part of the art of persuasion. Persuasion means influencing the people again. Influencing the people, right? So it will be align or consistence or match with a in align with a or in line with the body language and tone. By my body language and my tone, it has to match. My body language is like this. Then can I say, hello guys, how are you? I am like this, the great collie. Then can I talk, how are you all? What is your body language? How you are talking? It will not match now. So both has to align together. Align together. Then only you can influence the people. Otherwise you cannot influence the people. You cannot influence people. And contributive to positive influence on the teacher-student communication. So the persuasive attitude will create a positive attitude in the student-teacher communication. Acknowledging the participation of the student will be a main parameter. When you acknowledge the student name or when you acknowledge the student participation, if they are answering properly, effectively, they are participating in the discussion. Now, if you recognize them, they'll get a pleasure. They'll get a satisfaction to answer more and more. Fostering a sense of belongingness also. This is what a third level of the Maslow's theory, love and belongingness, comes under the classroom communication also. Right? Next, the impact of classroom communication should be so regulated that it should be result in exchange of ideas and information. Exchange of ideas and information. So regulated. It should be so regulated that it should result in exchange of information by whether it is classroom communication or any communication. Idea and information has to be exchanged between the persons. That's the entire fund of the communication, whether it is classroom or not a classroom, right? Next is that in classroom, the following limitation is easy to talk about something we do not want to. In classroom, the following limitation is easy to talk about something we do not want it to. That is working memory and conscious awareness and yes tags. Wait. Limitations is easy to talk about something we do not want to. Acha, I think this is about, wait. When we don't want to talk about something in the classroom, then we use this one. Yes, you are correct. Like that, these S tags will be there. Yes tags as well as conscious awareness. But I think these two are getting contradicted. By hold this point number 97, hold this, because this is I can relate easily, but these two are just need to check back again. I am only saying by 97 is not clear. That is why hold this point. Again you are coming and saying the same thing. Thoda ruko, rather than discussing something nonsense without any confirmation, let's hold. I will confirm this in the telegram also. Don't worry. Remove that point. A straightforward admission of one's own limitation is acceptable in an academic ecosystem. Straightforward admission of one's own limitations is acceptable. When you accept your mistake, being a teacher, you will get more respect. That's for sure. In the academic ecosystem, that is mandatory. Accept the mistakes in front of everyone because you made a mistake in front of everyone. So when you submit or admit your mistake in front of everyone, that is a most acceptable type of personality in the teaching or academic ecosystem. Next, sequence of selectivity in stages of mass communication is exposure, attention, perception, retention, attitudinal change. Can you please type the same sequence? Exposure as well as attention, perception, retention, attitudinal change. In the mass communication, they are asking in mass communication. They are asking in a mass communication stages, you must exposure to the particular issue. Later, attention about that issue and how the people are perceiving. You must give the information about that one. And later retain that information, and after that taking the information, attitude of the people is going to change. That is why even people, when they take some information, when they take some information from the social media or a mass media or a print media or anything, their perception or their attitude towards something will get changed because they don't know about that previously. Now they learned from by having this mass communication. Previously they don't know about it. Exposure, attention, perception, retention and behavior change. So attitude change. Next, non-verbal communication occupies more space for personal communication. Non-verbal communication, why it will occupy more space for personal communication? May I know why it will occupy? Exposure means exposing towards a particular issue that you wanted to understand or you wanted to know. Right? And here please look at non-verbal communication occupies more space for personal communication. Why personal? Because you are more interested in it. And unless until the person is there, unless until something is there, you cannot communicate with other person. Because non-verbal you can communicate over the call. So verbal you can communicate over the call and face to face everything. But non-verbal communication requires a personal presence of a person. The behavior, the facial expression, the body language, tone of the voice as well as the touch and everything will be a part of this one. Next, listening. Listening is help the internalize the messages. Internalize the messages means Listening is one's own understanding. How you are listening. Listening can happen in two ways. Listening through with mind. Hearing is through only ears. Hearing will reach to only ears, but listening will go to mind. That is what? That is internalize the messages. Right? Next is that empathetic conversation. Empathetic means seeing the same thing from the other's viewpoint is called as an empathetic communication. So falling under the shoes of the other and understanding from their perspective everything. Next, stress management through communication reflects confidence in one's own self. Stress management through communication is and reflect the confidence in one's own self. Stress management is in one's own self. Next, storytelling is considered as an effective form of the verbal communication. It is considered as an effective form of the verbal communication. And the following are the useful in positive components of classroom communication. Storytelling is effective form because when you tell the stories, people are ready to listen. That is why it is effective. And the following are useful in a positive component of classroom communication. Empathy, punctuality, follow-up means a feedback. Follow-up means a feedback. How they are doing, what is their performance. All those are comes under the follow-up. Whereas here, empathy means try to not only understand the student, try to help to the students also. That is what. Punctuality means be on time. When you be on time, students also will be on time. Next, interactive and multimedia system provides a new culture for teaching and learning. Interactive as well as multimedia systems. New culture means because in place of the traditional, the modern world will be replaced. The modern tools will get replaced. Instead of the traditional, the blackboard and all, now the smart boards and all the things are came into picture. Due to that enhancement of the multimedia and interactive only. And this sequence, the sequence of stages of message processing, that is one, perception, understanding, selection and internalization and action. Sequence of stages of message processing. Perception, understanding as well as selection and internalization, digesting information and giving action means a feedback. By message, once you receive the message, how you are perceiving that message is more important. Understanding, decoding that message, selecting out of the total message what you wanted, select that only, and digest that, internalize the message and give your feedback, that is an action. Newspaper is a broadsheet. Newspaper is a broadsheet. Why broadsheet? This is a mass media, which is a print media, right? Radio and television is a broadcasting. Casting means radio and television is visual as well as audio. Both appearance is there in this. That is why it is casting. Sheet means a print, newspaper. And social media is a networking. Networking is a social media, which is a digital media. Multimedia, audio, video, graphics. All the three things are present in the multimedia, that comes under here. Selection may be before understanding. You will see, without understanding the entire context of the message, you will not able to filter the information. You will not be able to filter the message. That is why first you try to understand the context. Later go into the selection or filtering process. After that, internalize means go in-depth understanding of the particular thing which you selected. Guys, likes and members are not matching. Kindly do match it by, please do hit a like button. Those who haven't done. If you hit a like button now, pakka you are going to get a JRF. That's my guarantee. Subject to some conditions. So depending upon the classroom communication, the concept of entropy as used in the communication is related to order. So it is related to order because entropy is a barrier. Entropy is a barrier. And entropy is creating a breakdown of the order. It is breakdown of the order. Whatever the sequence is there now, that breaking down comes under the entropy. Breaking down of. Next. Arey wah. Immediately it went to 70, from the 60 to 70. Wow, 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 wow. I will tell the condition after the exam, because after the exam, after the result, I will say, on that day I told na you will get a JRF. That's why now you got a JRF. I will tell on that day, result day. Depending upon the classroom situation, some media of communication are more effective than the others, and selection of a medium is directly related to the nature of the message for the students. So depending upon the classroom situation, some media of communication are more effective than the others, because if the classroom strength is more number of members are there, the media you need to use is a digital media is mandatory. If in the classroom you are not having that many members, you can use the direct face-to-face interaction also. The media of communication how you are using depends on the classroom situation, and the selection of the medium is directly related to the nature of message that you wanted to convey. Is it academic or non-academic or administrative message, right? Next, structured classroom communication can be categorized as in group communication. Structured is a classroom. Structured means a classroom communication, which is a small group communication. For effective communication inside a classroom, a teacher should embark upon listener analysis. In the offline classroom, you can find the people. They'll stare at like this only. They'll see the teacher like this only. When you go and do like this in front of them, they will not respond. Means they are, by opening eyes, they are sleeping. Means teacher, when he is standing on the dais in front of the students, he must observe the students who is yawning, who is sleeping, who is nodding their heads like this, and who is observing, who is attentively listening. That is his duty. Actually, that is his duty, right? Next, communication skills of a students can be improved by exposure to the new technology, fostering a critical thinking, discriminant use of vocabulary. You can just see communication skills of the students can be improved by exposure to the new technologies. Correct na? Exposure to the new technologies means previously we don't have access to smartphone. Due to that, skills of the communication people are getting improvised. People used to even think much for talking on a call. Now they are making a video call. Means communication skill with a social interaction got increased. So that's exposure to the new technology. Next, fostering a critical thinking. Critical thinking means your thought process. Thought process of the students, when you develop their thought process, critical thinking ability, when you are making them to go for a reflective level of understanding, automatically that will improvise the skill. Discriminant use of vocabulary. Discriminant doesn't mean making a partiality and all. Discriminant means at appropriate use of the vocabulary, the words and the language and the punctuation at a proper places. Right? Next, successful communication inside the classroom depending upon successful communication inside the classroom. Describing the theme. Today I am going to discuss the communication unit number 3 UGC NET, unit number 4 communication paper 1 UGC NET exam. That is my theme. When I describe my theme, I clearly written in the thumbnail. That is why you have seen that you require a communication topic, you are attending the live class now. So describing a theme. Use of persuasive words and phrases. There I have written breakthrough revision means you are going to break through with a JRF only. Sida you are going to land on the JRF zone. That's what. Use of persuasive means influensive words, influensive phrases which are required. Clarity in explanations offered. Now you are attending the class, you have to tell whether you are getting a clarity in the concepts or not which I am explaining. Right? Next is that if a teacher consider his or her students ill-informed, means misinformed. Teacher's behavior is described as an pluralistic ignorance. So if a teacher consider his or her students ill-informed, teacher's behavior is described as an pluralistic ignorance. Means don't ignore your mistake if you committed in the classroom. Two sets will be there. Either you can ignore if that is not much important, you can ignore it. You should not ignore, you should intimate them again in the next classroom, or in some way you need to communicate to them. This is what I have done a mistake, wrongly informed to you and wrongly explained to you, I am communicating now. These are the two ways you can do. Pluralistic means double stand, you can take it. Next, communication begins usually with pictures in mind. Correct now? So now today I am going to propose to a girl who is my dream girl. So dream girl means you in your mind something picture is there now. Before you are going to meet and see that girl for the first time, you are having a clarity picture in mind. So every communication have a proper picture in mind. You are going to sit in the examination, or you are going to write tomorrow exam. Acha, my examination center is going to be there like this. Computer will be coming and screen will be coming. I will be sitting at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's how a clear-cut pictures in the mind will be the starting point of communication. Pictures in mind for every situation, for every context. Communication begins usually with that, and the key to the effective listening by the student in classroom are empathetic learning. Empathetic means be helpful to the students, be a problem solver to the students, being a teacher. And communicated message is considered as an social product. Once your information is communicated, then obviously that is a social product. Means it reached to many number of people who is there in the society. You got communicated it. So that becomes a people in their hand only. They will take and they will understand in that way. Right? Do hit a like button. Next, semantic noise in classroom communication can be limited by avoiding the use of clinched jargon. What is clinched jargon? Semantic noise means multiple meanings or multiple understandings. Multiple understandings in classroom communication can be limited by avoiding the use of clinched jargon. Jargon means technical words. Too much technical words. Heavy words. In the colonial world, our big master is there now, who is our previous minister, UPA, Shashi Tharoor sir. His language is too much technical. We can't able to understand, right? So next, useful in overcoming the communication barriers in classroom are identifying the level of redundancy. Redundancy means a repetition. So identifying the level of redundancy, more repetition also will get a boredom. And voice inflection, how you are talking. Voice inflection means the voice modulation, in how many ways you are talking to the people. Contextualizing means according to the situation. By voice inflection is a barrier. Voice inflection is a one way to avoid the barrier. And here identifying the level of redundancy. Level of redundancy, why to identify? For the repetition also there is a level. Don't go beyond the too much repetition also will create a boredom. So you must restrict the level of redundancy. So to what extent you can speak or you can repeat the things. Next, skill of oration coupled with wit and humor makes a classroom communication compelling. Skill of oration means, what is oration? Even I need to check this word. Okay, formal speech. Right. I forgot some words by. Skill of oration coupled with humor makes the classroom communication. the way we speak. The way we speak. So skill of oration in the classroom communication, it must be formally a communication plus it must be in a humor. It attached by the humor also. Because humor is the one which will make the classroom more engaging manner. Otherwise it will create a monotonous or a one way of communication. Students will not enjoy much. There must be a humor also. Right? Next, it is preferable to start the classroom communication with anecdotes. Anecdote is nothing but storytelling. Storytelling comes under here. It is preferable to start the classroom with anecdotes, means with a proper introduction, proper storytelling or some sort of stories that you need to bring, so that classroom will be in an engaged manner. Next is that a good classroom talk should help to develop the summary sentences. By usually help to develop a summary sentences means after teaching a 1.5 hour class, student must be in a position to make his own summary. When he got that type of skill, he properly understood your lecture. That summary sentences development should be created by the teacher. That type of intellectual teaching or high level teaching or conceptual teaching is required. When you make them properly understanding of entire concept, automatically they will create their own summary. That is what I understood in the entire 1.5 hour. Right? Next is that a good written communication will have a intended purpose. Intended purpose means written communication. When a CEO is giving a circular to all the employees in the organization, when a girl is writing a love letter to a boy, intended purpose is very clear, because writing requires a purpose. Without purpose, no one will write. Dynamics of efficient communication, balancing interactive and static elements, as well as brainstorming procedures and understanding the learner's sociometry. Sociometry means capacity of interaction with others. Right? So here, understanding the learner's sociometry and brainstorming procedure, as well as here balancing and interacting and static elements. Next, for impact of communication, the individual student must be considered as a product of common use. Impact of individual student must be considered as a product, because each and every individual in this classroom, they are treated as a product. I am using the each and every student for my communication, because for you only, for your understanding only I am developing, then that comes under here. And effective teachers normally attempt to identify the general characteristics of learners to communicate with them. Right? Effective teachers normally attempt to identify the general characteristics of learners to communicate with them. Right? That's about the 2020. Same I was thinking. Acha, only you people are Satya Harishchandra and you people are very clean and green. I am only the polluted person. No, I am only having polluted mind. Oh, bhai. There, still the points are there. Ruko. Who are going? Wait. Let me have water. Sorry. My dear Abhishek Sharma, Commerce Goals, Jyoti Kashyap, Vanilla, थोड़ा रुको, I will give butterscotch to you. Ruko. 2019 December. The concept of proximal development reduced to educational communication was developed by Lev Vygotsky. By concept of proximal development, zone of proximal development, with the help of a teacher, without help of a teacher, what a student can do. That comes under this zone of proximal development, which is given by the Lev Vygotsky. The factor which affects the teaching in a positive learning environment in an institution is called as a positive reinforcement. When the teacher is conducting a test, some student perform well, they will get a positive reinforcement because they topped in the exam. And some students are not topped, or they got very less marks, they will get a negative reinforcement, which is a type of punishment to them. Instructional communication in the distance education mode is structured and interactive. By distance education is not unstructured, it is more of structured in nature, and it is also interactive, but it is interactive only to the distance education people, but not like a regular education mode. The distance interaction will be on the distance mode only, it will be there. They will be having a digital media to communicate. More of digital platforms are there to communicate. Right, digitally they will be interactive in nature. The pitch of the teacher's voice in the classroom is described as an paralinguistic communication. Paralinguistic communication is nothing but a voice modulation. Voice modulation comes under here. Right, next. Sir, I need chocolate flavor. Yes, total mix. For you, special thing. Chocolate, butterscotch, vanilla, all the things mix karke ek flavor aata na, that I will give to you. Your part is that only. The components of paralanguage communication includes voice, emphasis and impression. By paralanguage means, look at my voice, my emphasizing on the words, important, verbal signposting, how I am stressing the words, how I am impressing the words, how I am stressing on the words, emphasizing or giving a more expression to that words. Means the way we need to spell, the way we need to spell out the things is also will make a paralinguistic communication, which is an paralanguage or a voice modulation. Right? Fleeting changes. Fleeting changes that occur in a facial expression in teacher in a classroom are described as an micro-momentary. Fleeting changes means small. You can look at these small changes which the teacher is doing. Now, eyebrow is heading like this, and eye expression is increasing, decreasing, and he's giving us sudden expression, slow expression, speed expression like this. Those are uncontrollable changes in a person when he is communicating, whether he is a teacher or any person. Some changes which are happening in the facial expression are uncontrollable in nature, that we cannot control. Is comes under the micro momentary movements. Fleeting changes, we call them as fleeting changes. Right? We call them as fleeting changes. Next, expressive communication is driven by encoder's personality characteristics. Encoder is the one who is framing a message. Who frames a message is called as an encoding. Encoder's personality characteristics. Because if I am framing a message, based on my personality, the expression is going to differ. How I will communicate may be differ. How other person will communicate the same message will differ. Because that depends on the who is framing the message, who is expressing the message. Right? Next one is that mini summaries at the end of the classroom are called as an verbal signposting. I already told you. Teach entire class. At the end, last 5 minutes, give the summary. When you are in a position to give the summary, that is called as an verbal signposting. Verbal signposting means just recapping the same whole lecture in a short form. And signs are considered as a secondary product of channelization. Secondary product of channelization. Actually, this is a vague statement. Signs means a non-verbal communication, like a signs, symbols, logos, all these are, they are saying product of channel. By using which channel you are using, that will be the base for using the signs. Using the signs. Suppose if you are using the WhatsApp as social media, there the emojis are called as in signs. And you are using a direct YouTube or a Zoom type, there the hand raising emojis also will be there. That is a channelization. By way of that networking channels also you are using these signs. And by direct interaction you are hand raising, and these are signs. That is also direct way of channel. So based on the channel you are getting the signs, right? Next is that in the classroom in the communication process, signs derive a meaning throughout the network of interrelations. The network of interrelation. Communication process, signs derive a meanings through network of interrelations. By network of interrelation means integration of many things under the one. Integration of the things. Because until you connect these signs and the meanings, properly alignment is done, then we will not have the meaning of it. So the signs should be the whatever the symbols or signs are there now, that has to be properly matched, then only we can have the integration of the meanings or the interrelation, we can create it. Right? And communication in the classroom takes place at a superficial level. At a superficial level. Communication in the classroom takes place. Superficial means academic in nature. Personal level means, suppose superficial is an academic in nature. Superficial level. So more of subjective discussion inside the classroom, that will happen. And 3 levels will be there. Superficial level, personal level, validating level. In the validating level, what happens, sharing the beliefs. This is a superficial level which you are making only academic interaction. Whereas validating level, validating level of communication. In this validating level, more about the changing the belief. Changing about the beliefs. You will interact with the teacher. Sir, usually in my life, I don't trust the people. And usually in my life, I don't like the people who lie to me. I don't like the people who is doing this type, that type, because I am not that kind of a person. That is changing your belief. Changing your belief, your opinion with the teachers, which is at a validating level. You are trying to get a validity for your opinion in front of your teacher. Comes under the validating level. Whereas personal level is that. Personal level. Personal level is that. Personal level. What is personal? Personal is going into the depth of the teacher. Personals. Sir, are you married? Ma'am, are you married? Are you single? Aisa. Thoda. Mirchi masala will be into the personals of the teachers. Comes under here. Validating means exchanging the beliefs and opinions about how the weather is there, how the weather today economy is falling down, nowadays floods are more, how we need to control this one. This is a general talk. Right? So that's about the today's class. Clear definition objective makes the students understand the topic well. So every definition we need to understand, make them in a very clear manner. That will make the topic very clear. That's about this session, guys. Sir, when will you marry a girl? I will marry a girl only, bhai. Mera izzat bachao thoda. I will marry a girl only, don't worry. You don't worry about my life. I will take care about it. Everything has a time. I think even I am not concerned about my marriage. You are much concerned about it. Itna tension mat karo bhai. Yes, itna polluted mind, you can't able to concentrate on the studies also. You have to clear your polluted mind first. Thank you so much. Do hit a like button if you like the session, and we'll be meeting for a tomorrow also continuation, not for the communication. Tomorrow we'll be discussing the logical reasoning, Indian logic part, or else logical reasoning, the remaining parts other than the Indian logic, single liners will be discussed. Full revision is going to be there. PDF. I don't like this word because I like to take class than the PDF. I'll give the PDF in the Telegram group. Kindly download from there. If you have attended my teaching and research revision, you might have got the PDF. If you are asking a PDF over here, that means you didn't attended my previous lectures. Thank you.